and welcome back to another episode on Bound to Talk with Callanthea. So, I was really inspired earlier today to create this particular episode. I've got a whole list of different episodes that I want to do, and this actually wasn't on it, but I was inspired by it today. When I'm having a little bit of a pity party or feeling sorry for myself, and it just suddenly hit me. So I really do feel encouraged to create this episode. It's good for me. I'm feeling really positive about it, and hopefully, it's going to obviously be beneficial for you. So, as you're aware, the title of this episode is called Transform a Victim Mindset into a Victor Mindset. And I'm going to explain, what is meant by that in a moment. But this reminds me of one of my favourite fiction stories, Jane Eyre, which I am currently reading again. And in this story, Jane Eyre does have a lot of trials and tribulations in her childhood. But when she's asked as an adult by Mr. Rochester to share her tale of woe, because he assumes all governesses have a tale of woe, she doesn't say, "Oh, yeah, let me tell you about my life." She says, "I have no tale of woe, sir." And to me, that is just evidence of Jane Eyre's character. She's so strong and she refuses to let her past define her, right? She refuses to allow herself to complain about the present moment because of her past. So she doesn't want to be a victim. She wants to be a victor. So when I'm speaking about victim mindset, I'm talking about something that every single one of us has had at some point in our lives, right? Some more than others. And it's basically those thoughts that we feel that we haven't got enough. Woe is me. It never goes my way. It's all of those thoughts, right, that we have. And essentially, it makes us feel like we are dissatisfied in some way with our lives or with ourselves or even with other people. And it's basically our cop-out of not taking responsibility, right? We're just wanting to moan and be upset and wallow in self-pity. And that is essentially what a victim mindset is. Not to be confused with an actual victim, which I will come on to in a moment. So it is just this mindset that we do often have. And when we're thinking about a victor mindset, so a victor is someone that can win and defeat something else or an enemy, right? And surely we want to be victorious in our lives and successful in our lives, not feel like we're always the victim of our lives. So that brings me on to the question, are you really a victim in your life? Now, when we're thinking about the actual word victim, we're thinking about someone who has suffered at the hands of someone else, a perpetrator who has broken the law. That is essentially what a victim actually is. And when we're thinking about our victim mindset, it's a little bit crazy that we can feel like a victim when we burn the toast, right? Or it starts to rain when we head outside. And it's like we are not actually victims in that situation. It's just our outlook on it. But we all do it. We are all guilty of having those thoughts sometimes, feeling a little bit sorry for ourselves. At the end of the day, we all have choices. We can choose to have a positive outlook, positive perspective, and for the most part, we have free choice in our lives as well. And what's interesting is that our choices actually lead us to have a victim mindset, which is crazy because something that you once were happy about, you're no longer happy about and feel the victim in. So, for example, earlier today, before I started teaching, I really did not feel like teaching. I just didn't. And I was feeling sorry for myself and thinking, oh, well, if the kids don't come on, that'll be nice because I can just sit here and not have to talk. And then I thought, what am I doing? Like, I purposely, consciously chose to not teach in a school and work from home. And I've finally been given that and it's working. Yet my mindset and my attitude was just so bad. And this is what really sort of enlightened me today because I was thinking, I chose this and now I'm complaining about it. And when I reflect on other things in my life, I've done the same. It's like the brain always wants something else, right? So it's never quite satisfied. And this is something that absolutely needs to be broken. I need to break this, and probably lots of other people do as well. And I know that a victor mindset really does work because whenever I've set the intention to have a good day or to not let something bother me, right? If I'm focusing on a trigger, for example, like in one of my previous episodes, if I set that intention and I'm positive about it, chances are that is going to be the outcome, right? So it just makes sense to have a victor mindset and stop wallowing in, self-pity and feeling that the whole world is against you sometimes or that nothing ever works out because those words do become self-fulfilling prophecies. So that kind of brings me on to, this question now. What do you think your future would look like if you kept a victim mindset? I know what mine would look like. Mine would look like misery, right? Every day feeling like an uphill battle, an uphill struggle, when it doesn't actually have to be that way. And when you are in that victim mindset, notice how everything seems to lose colour, right? You don't appreciate the things that you normally would appreciate. And maybe you kind of fall out of love with the things that you would normally enjoy. That is not a life of joy or happiness. It's a life of misery and suffering and struggle, and nobody needs that. But yet, if we can make ourselves feel like that, then we can also make ourselves feel the complete opposite. And that is empowering. I love, love, love when I find out I have the power to change something. Because let's face it, we can't rely on anybody else. We can only rely on ourselves. So it's good news when we have the power to change. It's not something that we should be shying away from. So, what if we think about that alternative then? What would our future look like with a victor mindset? Even just today, when I was really feeling this, instantly I felt so much better. And for the last few lessons that I had, I really, really enjoyed it. And I focused on just being of service and encouraging and praising rather than thinking, oh, it'd be nice if I didn't have to talk today. It'd be nice if I could just sit on the sofa and watch Netflix. Well, actually, I really enjoyed teaching and it helped because I had that positive mindset. So I really want to be a victor of my life. I want to be a good creator of my own life. And hopefully you do too. I mean, it makes complete sense to do that. So just think about that difference. If you go through life constantly feeling like the victim, then you're never ever going to have peace or true joy. But if you always have that mindset of, I'm not a victim, I'm a victor, I'm a creator of my own life, then you can have that power, okay? You can be inspired by things and feel empowered in your own self-worth. And essentially, you will create the life that you've always truly wanted. You'll feel at peace with everything around you. Now, that doesn't mean to say that we're going to have some bad days, right? We all have bad days, of course. And we're all human, so we've got a load of emotions that we have to ride on a frequent basis. So it's not about thinking, oh, I'm feeling sad and now I've got to be more sad about it, or I can't be sad about it. It's just, right, I feel this way and I've got a good reason to feel this way. It's a temporary thing. I'm not going to wallow in my self-pity forever and things will get better. And then you pick yourself up and you move on, right? Of course, we need to look after ourselves. Of course we do. And sometimes we just have a really crap day and we just don't want anything to do with anyone else. And that's okay as well. But actually having that mindset of a victim is only going to bring us down further to a darker place where we really don't want to be. It's true, right? We are going to lead our lives into darkness if we stay in that victim mindset. Nobody wants that. Not really. Not if we consciously think about it. We would not choose that. So choosing a victor mindset is so much more empowering, so much more exciting, and essentially we're going to be a lot happier. So what can we actually do going forward then? Because I know for me, whenever I'm upset about something and I realise that I need to change something, then I need to have clear solutions. I need to have clear steps to be able to get there. And essentially, we're trying to aim for a victor mindset, okay, to take away our victim mindset and transform it. So I've wrote down these steps here, and I hope that they will help you because I'm excited that they're going to help me. So, first of all, we need to make wise choices in our lives. Okay, wise choices when we're finding solutions to our current problems, because we know that life inevitably is going to give us a whole bunch of problems, and that's normal. But how are we going to actually deal with that? What choices can we make to deal with that? So, for example, if you're at work and you really don't enjoy where you work, okay, or you don't enjoy your job, is there anything that you can do to make you enjoy your job? If not, can you just accept it, make peace with it, and hopefully feel better? Or do you need to just leave, right? They're essentially the options that you have. And, there's only really one of them that is going to give you peace, right? It's going to be the one that is the most wise option for you. And if leaving is the only option that is going to make you feel better, then that's probably a wise choice. Okay, so you really need to think about having those wise choices and especially think about the consequences of choosing them. So, what might look good initially, is it going to be problematic down the road? Are you going to complain about it later on? If so, do you think you need to reassess it? Because you do not want that biting you on the ass, right? Even though we do always find a way to complain about something that used to be good in our eyes and now we're just dissatisfied with it, right? That's something that just needs to be sorted because it's a bit neurotic, to be honest. But if we're just thinking, let's make wise choices first, and that's going to put us on a decent path, okay? And then the second step I've put is when we have those wise choices, we need to be unwavering and stay determined. So we make a choice, we know exactly what we're going to do in our lives. We need to be determined in doing that and hold ourselves accountable to achieving whatever it is that we're wanting to achieve. Or if, let's say, you do need to leave your job or you feel like that's the only option, you need to be accountable to actually take that leap of faith and you need to be accountable to apply for other jobs, right? So stay determined, be unwavering in your choices. And then for the third step, I've put down that if you're actually making progress or when you actually make progress, okay, and you achieve whatever it is that you wanted to achieve, that you chose to achieve, maybe you chose to go to university and study a certain subject, right? And now you've got to actually do it. You've got to do the hard work. You've got to stay determined to achieve it. Well, when you are making progress and when you are achieving something, actually celebrate it, okay? Recognize that you've done something really good and really positive. Remind yourself that you are a victor and you're creating your own life. So your choices turn into actions, and then your actions will turn into results. So it makes sense to celebrate those along the way, right? So for the last step, I've put down that when you do eventually get what you chose to set out to do or accomplish, right? When you make a choice, you've achieved that choice, don't allow yourself to complain about it. Okay. If down the line you start to complain about it, you need to stop yourself or reassess and say to yourself, well, if I am dissatisfied with this now, it was a wise choice a few years ago. I'm not going to be a victim. What can I do to change the situation? Right? Because for example, I obviously left teaching in a school. I didn't leave teaching. I love teaching, but it wasn't working for me. It was unsustainable, right? For my well-being. So I chose to leave the school environment and now I work from home. Yeah, it has its ups and downs, of course. And I do miss the kind of more human interaction, I guess. But actually, I chose to do this for many, many reasons. And whenever I find myself complaining, like today, I felt a little bit sorry for myself. I just have to think, no, I need to stop that because I'm not a victim. No one put me here except me. Nobody else made this choice for me. I chose to leave. I chose to work from home. Nobody else made this choice. I am not a victim. And that's actually something I kind of wanted to mention as well, that, Unfortunately, there's a lot of people on this planet and a lot of animals as well, that don't have the choice, right, to do what they want with their lives. Someone else decides it for them. And that's really upsetting, obviously. But again, it gives us another perspective. Really look at your life and just think, is someone else constantly controlling every single thing that I'm doing in my life? Or do I actually have a lot more freedom than most people? So, even just looking at it like that, it makes me feel a lot more humble and a lot more grateful for the choices that I am able to make in my life. And therefore, I should be accountable for them. So, I hope that, that kind of gives you a bit more insight into how to kind of go from having a victim mindset to a victor mindset and why you'd want to do that, because it's so beneficial. You're going to feel a lot better, a lot happier in your life when you do make those changes. So I don't know about you, but I'm really tired of having a victim mindset. Okay, it creeps back in whenever it wants. And I'm wanting to shut that down now and have a victor mindset, because I have made a lot of choices in my life. I still have the power to make choices in my life. So I can create whatever I want to create, right? I can be whoever I want to be. So there's no need for me to complain. And hopefully you feel a little bit more empowered as well by listening to these ideas and listening to the steps that are provided as well. I really do hope that they provide some help and use to you, because if everyone had a victor mindset, okay, the world would be a much more positive, vibrant, happy place to live for sure. So I'm going to leave it there. But again, thank you so much for listening and tuning into this one. And I hope that you enjoy these episodes that I am creating. And remember, stay true to you, okay? And hopefully I'll see you soon.